And welcome to the super fun, awesome, happy time. Josh. You know, Josh.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
You know the movie I'm talking about?
Yeah, what was that again?
The Blair Witch one?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Josh! Because it's a Joshua! Pedal show, my name is Gabor.
Obscure reference. Hey, welcome along. I'm Alex. Going to check out this delay pedal today. Please hit like and subscribe on the channel first up. Ding the bell. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the notification thingies. And send us cash and biscuits.
Actually, I should have gone. Josh! Blair Witch? Has anyone seen that? It was what was like super hype, and it was one of the worst movies ever.
It's a documentary on Australia travel.
Documentary.
Yeah.
So the MXR Joshua Ambient Echo. If you're watching this, and again, this is when it gets complicated. If you're watching this today, this came out today. If you're watching this on another day, this came out a few days ago, or years or months or whatever ago. No, so this is early 2024, let's just say it that way. This is a new pedal from the MXR line, the Joshua Ambient Echo, in a lovely sparkly kind of white finish with a lovely blue, and also if you so choose red light, and also if you so choose flashy other blue light, and multiple outputs and 6 knobs and secondary functions and all that sort of stuff that gives you ambient delays and reverbs and octave things. Pitchy stuff.
Okay, that's confusing, but so you know what you're hearing. Yeah, we're just going straight into a UAD amp sim plugin. It's a clean plexi both sides, so they're both the same in stereo for your listening pleasure. In there.
Oh, and I should mention right from the start as well, this is sent to us by the lovely, lovely people of Jim Dunlop / MXR Australia. G'day. So this is what you would call a sponsored video. Now, to Joshua, so I mentioned it before, it's basically, it's kind of an ambient machine, right? So there's not one, but 2 delays.
Yep.
And we're running in stereo today as well. So you have 2 outputs. You can actually, if you use a TRS cable, you can use one of the outputs in stereo. There's a little switchy in here. I'll show a photo of it. And you can turn that output either into an external tap tempo output or an expression pedal. Where, like with a lot of MXR pedals, you plug the expression pedal in, you go to the heel position, you put the knobs where you want them to be, you go to the toe position, you turn the knobs to wherever you want them to be, and then you can swell between the 2.
Yep.
You can also, with a tap, if you hold it in, there's a freeze mode, but we don't actually have an external tap switch, so we can't do that. But other than that, you can, by holding in the button, and then that lights flash. Now this has become your tap tempo.
That is a cool feature. I know.
And then you hold it in again.
Other pedals have it.
And the lights go off, and then it's back to on and off switch.
That's cool. Getting tap without having to plug in extra stuff.
Extra thing, yeah.
Cool.
So basically, let's just start off. So we're going in stereo, but if you have that okay, so this should technically always be on. We're leaving it off, or I'm leaving it off because of the extra light into the camera. But this is your trails. So trails means if you turn it off, it will continue echoing. If you have that turn off, you have an echo, you turn it off, it just stops dead.
Yeah.
Which I said to Alex before, there should be severe punishments for anyone who turns trails off on a reverb or a delay.
Is there a situation where you'd want to cut your trails off?
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe there is. If there is, you can. But in my opinion...
Maybe like a short, sharp stop at a song?
Yeah, maybe.
And you just want... Yeah, I can see that.
To me, trails should always be on. That's just my personal opinion. If you don't like it, comment below. But I don't care. So, this turns the second echo on and off. But at the moment, and let's just have everything at basically 12 o'clock, except for this, because this is a voice switch that's something else. Let's just see what it sounds like. Yep, with just a one delay. So because we're running in stereo, the delay will only be on one side, which is that side for us. So it'll be that side for you. Or you'll hear it. Because it's back to front, the way they're watching.
Oh, I saw.
Yeah.
Factor brunt.
Yes. Factor brunt. So, I mean, it just works like a normal delay now. So you've got your delay time, which is called delay, and you have regeneration, which is your feedback, basically. You also have a mix, so you can bring the mix right up, you can bring the mix right down. But I mean, that's where it's sort of boring, right? So that's basically those, yeah. And then you also have modulation here. When it gets interesting is when you introduce the second delay. Now the second delay doesn't have its own time knob. It has this division knob, so it is always a division of the first delay. So they're always kind of in sync.
This is a pretty cool feature because you can't really get too wrong.
No.
Is that terrible grammar? But it's very easy to get great sounds straight away.
Yeah.
Especially with how they interact.
So let's just check it out now. So I'm going to just introduce the second delay. Now the second delay comes out on the other side. So this is where you get the stereo thing. So you have it's sort of hard pan, one left, one right. So I'm going to just introduce it once. You'll start playing and I'll bring in the second delay. Then you can change the subdivision. So you've got this, which I think is the same. So it comes out at the same time. So they're both the same. Then you set it to this, which is dotted, I think. Yeah, so you've got dotted. Then you set it to this, which I think is just eighth. So it's just one. It comes out
twice as many.
Twice as many. Yes, it's sort of ping pong. Ping pong. Okay.
Twice as half as many.
Twice as what he said.
Twice as half
as many. Then we've got the next one, which is
terrible.
I can't see it from here.
Is that the dotted? Oh, it's triplets.
Triplets.
Yep.
And that's like a pattern.
And you're instantly the edge.
You're pretty much instantly the edge, yeah. So, I mean, that's the basic function, right? And then let's quickly show the trails and no trails. So this is no trails. Oh, hang on, let's turn the regeneration up. This is when you go to jail when you do that. Then you turn trails on. Now if you do the same thing. As you turn it off, it keeps going. So it should be the law to have it on, but I mean, let me know if there are reasons why you want it off. I'm joking, but yeah. So let's set this, let's say, to just eighth, so it just ping pongs between the two.
Okay.
Now the other thing you can do, and there's all secondary functions we will get into, right? But let's just look at the first dairy functions.
First dairy.
The first
lot of cows.
First dairy functions. So we've got modulation now as well. So modulation, let's turn the modulation all the way up.
Ooh, out of control.
Oh, and let's turn the pedal on. It's lovely modulation. It goes quite wacky, but you can change things with the secondary functions.
Could we just make it like almost a super short delay time and just make it a chorus?
Ooh,
Can you do it like a
let's
chorus vibrato-y / effect?
Let's turn that all the way down, okay. That's a cool sound, actually. That's not a bad sounding sound. Good idea. Yes, so you can do that sort of stuff. You can muck around with the actual speed and stuff like that in the secondary functions later on. But it's a nice sounding. If you have it sort of low somewhere there, it's a really pretty sounding modulation, I find.
Yeah. Do it again?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, anyway.
La, la, la.
It's
Pretty
nice sounding modulation. Now, the last thing you can do is the voice knob. Now, the voice knob introduces an octave down, octave up, and 2 octaves up.
That's right. I knew it was 2 one way. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 up.
2 up. I'm pretty sure it's 2 up. Let me just double check that now.
Shimmerland.
Yes, 1 down, 1 up, and 2 up.
Cool.
And you blend it in. So it's kind of the volume of that as you turn it up. So if I turn it up all the way, it sounds like this. Turn the modulation off.
That's a cool texture for like recording parts. Like
Yeah.
there's some great interviews with Michael, not Landau. Who's the other session player from LA? Michael. Oh, his name escapes me.
Johnston.
There was Tim Pierce, Landau, and Michael. Damn. Anyway, there's some cool stuff where they talk about like part of the session is doing all the rhythm parts and the solos, and then doing like the 10% on top, like effect stuff like this.
Oh, yeah.
Shimmery parts, the kind of icing on the cake, and that's the icing on the cake sound.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Not
Not Lucas, though.
No.
Another Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was down there.
Well, his name's
Steve.
Michael.
Well, Michael Lucas, maybe Steve's brother.
Yeah.
Who is really the brains behind him. He's just Steve is a good-looking guy.
Oh, and how?
Okay, so now that's basically on the face of it what you can do, right? But there are now secondary functions. I'm going to use my iPad because there's lots, so it's just trying to remember.
Michael Thompson.
Michael Thompson.
Is that his name?
Is it? I don't know.
I think so.
Possibly. So you've got secondary functions. Some are more important than others, but so let's, for example, if we're looking at the delay thing. So the secondary functions, you get to them by holding in these buttons. So you hold a button in and turn. So you have an extra
Hidden features.
Well, you've got basically 12 additional hidden features because each button, all 6 knobs, have a secondary function. Now, like I said, some are a little bit more important than others. One, for example, if you hold this down
Yeah.
and you turn that, you can full counterclockwise. This is what they call a soft flash. If you hold it down and turn it full clockwise, this becomes a hard flash. You know, a little less important. I probably got to say I prefer the soft flash. And the camera prefers the soft flash. So I'm going to go for what the camera prefers. And you do the same with this. So this, I think there are ways where you can make this flash, and you can do the same thing by setting the modulation knob. The delay knob by holding this down. It changes the way that flashes. But it doesn't matter. Let's just not worry about that sort of stuff. Then the other thing you have symmetrical and asymmetrical regeneration. So what that means is, I think by default, it's set to symmetrical regeneration, which means both delays have the same delay lines, have the same amount of feedback. But you can change it. You can have one delay have more feedback than the other.
Ah, sure. That makes more sense.
So it's yes. So to disable this feature, rotate the knob counterclockwise. So this is the modulation knob. So if we hold this and turn the modulation knob counterclockwise,
Yep.
and you can sort of see it flashes, that bit flashes when you go past
Yep.
the middle. So if you turn it counterclockwise, there's another knob now that you can set where you can set the regeneration for the second delay. So you can have the two delays at separate regenerations. Now, if you the modulation knob while holding this button down, it gives you the rate of the modulation. So let's check that out actually. So let's set the modulation to there somewhere. Right, let's send this down. There's, it's a bit of modulation there, but you can set the rate by holding this down and turning this knob. You can change the rate of the modulation. So it's a rate and a depth. It's both in one. So you set the rate and the depth with this. So by turning it down, you have less depth and slower rate.
Just like an overall intensity type of thing.
So you can set how crazy you want the modulation to be. So you can have the modulation a lot less intense, even at higher settings. So you get more modulation, but it doesn't go as intense. Now, next knob, voice knob.
Yep.
Now the voice knob, by holding down the blue button and turning it all the way counterclockwise, clockwise, you're turning off stereo mode.
What?
So now everything just comes out of one speaker.
Now it's the monos.
Now it's mono. Yeah, it's hard to hear sometimes, but now it's mono. And if you press that, you go, that light flashes.
Oh, so, yep, cool.
Now it's stereo again. So if you're running the pedal in mono, you got to make sure it's set to mono. Otherwise, you only hear one thing.
Yes.
Okay. Now the voice knob. If we use this is a high cut filter.
What?
Yes. So by turning it clockwise, you reduce the high end frequency range from 12 kilohertz, fully counterclockwise to 2 kilohertz. At noon, 200 hertz.
Should we try that?
Yes. So I guess the delays get darker. Yeah, it just darkens off much quicker. So I think default is sort of in the middle.
Yeah.
Where there's a little bit of darkening, but you can say it's a filter, so you can make your delays darker. Now, the next one, regeneration, kind of works together with the mix knob. Let's start off with that because there's a reverb on it, right? So if you hold this button down, this is a decay of a reverb, and this is the mix of the reverb. So now, if I'm turning the reverb all the way up, so you've got this lovely lush reverb as well.
It's more ambient.
Even more ambient.
Ambient echo.
So you've got the mix of the reverb. So you can turn the reverb down a bit as well. You can have the decay all the way up, but the mix down a little bit if you don't want it as dominant, right?
Do more slow parts.
Yeah. It's lovely.
Pretty.
So that's kind of those two working together. Now, Regeneration on its own with this is the repeats for the second echo. So you can increase the repeats. So it's the Regeneration. So before, if you remember, we sort of split them so they don't work together. So with this now, you can make one delay longer than the other. So you can set them to be, one was really long, one was a bit shorter now. Personally, I think, which one was it? To disable this feature, rotate counterclockwise. Yeah, so if we rotate it clockwise, they should be set to the same.
Cool.
Are they though?
Yeah, pretty close.
Pretty close. Okay, well that's that.
Yeah. It's a bit deceptive because they're different timing.
Yeah, true. Now, the other thing, lastly, you've got now is the division knob, right?
Yep.
So with this, you can set your tap divisions. So when you're tapping, what the tap divisions are with this thing. Now with this knob, you can actually add compression to the signal.
Ooh, that could be cool.
So rotate clockwise to increase the compression threshold, or counterclockwise to lower it. Midpoint is the default setting.
Okay.
So this is with this. So this gives you more compression in the signal. Could you feel a difference?
It's a little bit.
Yeah.
It's pretty subtle.
Pretty subtle.
Yeah.
And then lastly, you've got the echo mix on this.
Mm-hmm.
You can increase the mix of the secondary delay relative to the first, or decrease it. So you can have one louder than the other. But I mean, again, don't necessarily need to do that. But I mean, that's all the functions here. There's lots of functions.
Isn't there?
Make sure to read the manual. And you can also have return everything to default thing, where you hold both of those buttons down for 5 seconds, they will flash, and then it'll go back to the default settings. Factory reset.
Very cool.
Should we just do a couple of sounds, maybe?
Let's do some, different combos.
Let's do that. right, so those were some amazing, man, they were amazing.
Probably.
Sound samples by
People.
one of us, or both of us, maybe. And it is the Joshua Ambient Echo by MXR. Yeah, hope you like it, hope you enjoy it. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Big thank you once again to MXR Australia for sending this out to us.
Thanks for hanging. There's also links below the socials of podcast. We do that occasionally. And leave a comment. What do you think?
Yes, how do you like Josh? Josh?
Yeah, that's
Blair Witch.
that's so cute.
Get it? Yeah, that's it.
Thanks for hanging.
Oh, and check out a playlist for all the MXR, Jim Dunlop kind of stuff. Here. Watch it. You.